Now we're going to build our layers into black and white layers. We're going to inverse them or reverse them so that everything that's black will print white and vice versa, leaving our composite that will be created using foil. So very first thing that I'm going to do is turn all my layers off, go to my lowest most layer, and I'm simply going to start to fill these in with black and white. And so I'm going to just go under color and go to black and just repeat the process through all the same things. I'm making sure that my layers are still locked. I might have these separated out so I can watch them fill. Make sure that they don't do a whole sheeting over the whole thing. And just keep filling them in black so that I get all the content that I need. Now, I do this by going in and then you can go in and reverse this. You can do that through some other techniques as well. Or there are some people who fill this in using white outline lines as well. So there's a couple different ways to go about the technique. And so I'm going to go back to my lowest layer, and I should be able to revert or invert. So I have my black layer, my black images, and I'm going to add another layer. So I'm going to add a new layer. This layer I'm going to just let this be solid background. So I'm going to call this black or full layer, and I'm not taking care of locking any pixels. I'm simply going to fill the whole thing in with black. And you see how that sheeted the whole thing black? And if we look at the order of the layers over here in my layers panel, black is above layer 1, and so I'm going to pull that down to the bottom. On layer 1 now, I'm going to go up under image and go to adjustments and tell it to invert. And that should make everything on that layer white. Turn this off, do the same thing. So I'm on this layer. I can't see it because I have black on black here, but we're going to go into adjustments and we're just going to keep on moving through this process and making sure that I have my layers locked. Remember, if you don't have your transparent layer locked, when you go to do this, it'll sheet, it'll fill the whole surface up. And so what can happen now as I get this ready to go, back again into invert, is that I can go and print these now with different components or composites with the eyeballs on. And I'm going to be able to use these in foil. So how this is going to work is everywhere where I see black, the foil is going to attach to the toner that we print out on the laser printer. And I'm going to throw that away. I don't want that. I want the master copy or what's left on the foil carrier to be what I apply to my archival paper and onto my polymer paper. You also can work the other way. There's not a hard fast rule with this one way or the other. This is how I work. It doesn't have to be how you work. But this is how I build a positive image in foil similar to silkscreen that is coming from that original drawing that has been done. This technique also works in Photoshop with photos and can be used with a lot of different other drawing techniques. Next thing that we're going to do is take this same feather, move it through a black and white process, and look at the dot images and bitmap options that we have to print. So once again, I said to print. To print, you're going to go up under File, down to Print. You're going to go through your print driver, make sure your paper is the size that you need, and that you've hooked up to the laser printer to export this out. Some people at this point save this file as black and white or black and white printer file. Some people also will go into here and start to build composite files in new folders. So for instance, I can make a new folder or new group from the layers, and all of those files then can be turned off or turned on universally or as a whole. Next thing we're going to do is work with the feather in a little bit different composite.